Back everyone to Between Bells on Cheddar News. I'm Baker Machado, and sports betting continuing to grow here in this country, and now it's hitting the mainstream as dozens of states have now legalized it, with California set to do so this year. And even Arizona, which legalized sports betting back in September, just set new national records for gambling just in its first few months. So joining us now to discuss what's next in this booming industry, Daniel Graetzer, the CEO of MaximBet. Daniel, good to have you here. I mean, the numbers from Arizona are just insane. They reported more than 777 million just in wagers for the months of September and October. I mean, was that an expected debut here from that state here?
We've seen some crazy state launches, but nothing in the realm of Arizona. And despite COVID's best efforts to shut things down, Arizona Bowl being canceled, 40% growth for the first month-on-month, for the first 2 months is just incredible.
All right, so just in Arizona, let's just stay there for a second. DraftKings and FanDuel ranked number 1 and number 2 in online drafts through the first 2 months of action. Why has mobile wagering become such a preferred method here? Is it just because it's accessibility and how easy it is here?
That's how long it took me to pull my phone out from across the desk. I mean, we've all got one. We're out, we're watching sports, we're at the bar with our friends, we're sitting on the sofa. We want to pick up our phone, we want to place bets. It's also where we get our sports news, it's where we get our facts. It's everything now.
Okay, in Ohio, by the way, the governor there, Mike DeWine, signing a bill to legalize sports gambling in that state. When is that expected to take place in terms of it being official, and what other states are we really looking out for the rest of this year to keep an eye on?
I'd expect things to move pretty quickly. They've promised that things should be online by the end of this year. Now that we know people want to be online for Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll make it for the football season this year, but we know they're going to push hard for it. They want that tax revenue to start coming in. I'd expect to see at least 10 more states come online this year. I mean, I'm excited about Mississippi, Missouri, Louisiana. Louisiana launched, North Carolina, Massachusetts. It's going to be a wild year. Last year was big, 17 states already online. It's just going to keep rolling.
What about New York? Obviously, we think we're kind of a big deal here. Is there any expectation that maybe we could get it before the NFL playoffs? And I'm asking for a friend here.
We don't talk about New York. No. New York is going to be a big state. I'm hoping things can change around in New York with a bit of regulation there, but I'm expecting that to move pretty quickly as well. There's some big tax revenues going back to the regulator there. So I think they're going to be very bullish about trying to make that happen as quickly as possible.
Are you surprised with how fast we've seen adoption from the league in terms of acceptance of the sports gambling industry? Because for the whole past of watching sports, there was sort of this line of demarcation that the leagues never wanted to cross or be associated whatsoever with anything that was gambling. But yet the adoption has been so fast, it almost feels like it's happened overnight here.
It's mind-blowing. I started in sports betting almost 20 years ago. Back then, we were begging to get a seat at the table. Now that the tables have turned, everyone's coming to the sports betting operators. How can we get involved? The leagues, the sports, the teams, the networks. Everyone wants a piece of the sports betting action. I think we're the final piece of the sports entertainment puzzle. So I can understand why everyone wants this, right? We add to fan engagement, we add to revenue. We're part of that full package of sports entertainment.
Also, I'm surprised also at how much these companies have now turned into media conglomerates at the same time. DraftKings, FanDuel, Barstool, the list goes on. Even the casinos are essentially turning into media conglomerates as well. Are you surprised at sort of taking that aspect that they've been doing here?
Not at all. Again, coming back to that last point, I think it adds that level of interaction. It's a way for you to broadcast media, people to engage, people to win. You get skin in the game. That's what this is all about. It's not just watching the game anymore. It's not just watching the sports news. It's not just reading about facts and injuries. It's now, I've got a piece of this. Everyone is now an analyst. Everyone now has something to earn out of this industry. Again, it's part of this entertainment package that sports has always needed.
Okay, so what are your predictions then for the rest of this year when it comes to this industry? What do you think is going to happen?
Look, on the financial side, I think there's going to be a lot of moving. I'd expect to see some consolidation at the top. I definitely don't think we're in a bubble, despite, a lot of people always talking about, are we in a bubble or not? No, but yes, there's going to be some consolidation. I think we've probably seen the floor on some of the public stocks. I think there's going to be a lot of recommendations moving from that hold to that buy level now. And we're going to see people start to really start capitalizing on those growth stocks. I think we're going to see a lot more interest in the SPAC markets. The SPACs have been crazy over the last year. I think we're going to see huge investments coming through SPACs to try and capitalize on those growth businesses. I think my biggest prediction for the year, though, bit of shameless self-promotion, is you're going to see the best party of the year in the sports betting space when MaximBet throws the biggest Super Bowl party in LA in February.
You know what? I'm into that prediction. I like it. Now the more pressure is on to make sure it is the best party ever. Daniel Graetzer, such a pleasure to meet you, CEO of MaximBet. Thanks so much for joining us.